Wow. Well, next, let's queer up trans rights. DeSantis requested medical records of all Florida trans students, and now they plan statewide walkout. Students across Florida are planning a statewide walkout after Governor Ron DeSantis requested all public universities comply in delivering data from student health services on transgender students who sought gender-affirming care at the institution. DeSantis asked to see a breakdown of the medical data of students who received gender-affirming care from public entities. This includes anyone in the general public who sought gender-affirming care at the hospitals located at these public universities. In addition, he wants their ages and the dates they received gender-affirming care. The deadline to submit those records was February 10th. Insider has confirmed that the University of Florida, Florida State University, the University of Central Florida, Florida A&M University, Florida International University, and the University of North Florida have complied with the request, but have yet to hear back from the rest. Students at these universities are now planning rallies for next week, along with the statewide walkout on February 23rd. Ben Braver, a junior at the University of South Florida and the outreach officer for the school's College Democrats chapter, is leading the initiative known as the Stand for Freedom Florida Walkout. Well, once again, the young people, the youth, are standing up and walking out, and I am all for it. I think it's just the same as it was with guns, you know, after Parkland.
Yeah.
Yes. So it's the young people that are going to be voting age in time for 2024. I think it's wonderful.
It's so scary. And the walkout, I'm sorry, Jamal, and the walkout is going to happen on the 23rd, like Dale said, between 12 and 1 p.m. And that gentleman, Ben Braver, let's say his name again, because he is the conduit to make this happen, you know, and we need that young blood, like you said. But like also when the gun stuff happened, did anything come out of it? Nothing.
Yeah. And the point I didn't really make, how scary this is, what it's about. I mean, this infiltration of your personal data.
Yeah.
Exactly. I mean, it's really horrifying.
Right.
And he can get away with that, with just saying, I need this data, give it to me, schools, and they have to comply.
Federal HIPAA laws, I don't quite understand. This is a relatively breaking news story also, but first reaction.
Yeah, HIPAA laws, that's true.
Well, that's literally just before I was about to say, HIPAA doesn't exist here? I mean, why not?
Yeah. That's exactly what I was like. This is dangerous. This is access to medical records. That is low key.
That's not even high. There.
That's not even. That's high key. right on the money.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
That's high key.
One other observation. This is beyond. We're all reacting the same way. It's just beyond. The one thing that really gives me the cringe-worthiness of this request from Governor DeSantis of requiring our state universities to share data of people that are getting gender-affirming care. It doesn't have to be drugs. It could be counseling.
Yeah.
And they want to know, are you being counseled?
Yeah.
I'm suicidal. And I'm suicidal in thinking about my gender identity. And you've spoken to an expert or a professional at the University of Florida, and that is being reported to Governor DeSantis, who has all of your best interest at heart.
Claro, he does.
Yeah.
Sure he does.
The one thing beyond that, I mean, because this is beyond my pay grade in understanding what's going on here, the one thing that I tell you, for the first time in clarity in my life, if I was not black in 1860, I was not Jewish in 1939, I am not trans in 2023. But my goodness, if we don't understand how the trans community feels like they're on the verge of being not only marginalized, not only discriminated against, but literally on a path of destruction. Annihilated.
Yeah. Erased.
Because this is all about erasure, because that is why we have these blips in history due to marginalized communities is erasure. You know, erasure of the Jews, erasure of blacks, erasure of homosexuals, now erasure of trans people. And the more visibility that trans people do get in the media, in social settings, the more attacks they're going to get, because it questions literally the morality and the being of these people who are attacking it.
Yeah, and the attackers are also then making every attempt to erase history of said events.
Taking it out of
the
schools, of books.
But let's still talk about Christopher Columbus discovering America and not raping and pillaging people.
And then,
Indigenous
here's your gun.
You know,
Here's your gun. Go to school.
my heart goes out to this story because I literally am beginning to lose objectivity of voice support, but I feel so inept in that my voice support will have any consequence of value at all if we do not find a way to stand up against these people and what they're doing. And at the end of the day, in terms of what happened to Jewish people in 1939, America became a railroad of sorts. It was on ships, but America helped get Jews out of Europe. Other countries helped get Jews out of Germany. That's the Underground Railroad story out of the South in 1860 and 61 and 1862. Are we going to have to create an Underground Railroad of trans out of the state of Florida?
I think we do. I think the answer
about-
is yes.
But there are other states where this is happening as well. It's not just Florida.
And it may just be out of the United States, because we saw what happened in Russia with Putin's little minion, where they had to create an underground railroad, if you haven't seen the documentary, but an underground railroad for gays to get out of Russia. And it was very tough. And right now, this trans situation, this story is literally blowing me, because to request medical records, like, and I'm really feeling also for the parents. I think that this fight is going to start to be also intergenerational as well. It's going to really require an intergenerational.
And my example, you know, the argument in terms, they've taken this relatively absolutely obscure issue. This is the story that's going on at the New York Times. The New York Times said, is there any truth in terms of the kind of referral to surgery for minors? And that story is blown up completely out of context to say, well, how many people that are minors in the United States have actually gone through transition surgery? The number is so small that it's all, you know, it's just beyond small. But that is taken to the point of saying, well, that's everything in trans. That's not. This story is not. This story is not going into a health clinic at the University of Florida. This could be as simple as, I have dysphoria and I can't explain it or why I'm feeling this way, but I'm in the wrong body. And I feel suicidal. And I'd like to talk to a professional to help me get through today. And that's going to be reported to somebody that clearly has their best interest at heart.
Oh, God.
That's what's going on here.
If you want to support, they are going to have this walkout on the 23rd from 12 to 1 p.m. Go on their social media. They have an Instagram called Stand for Freedom Florida, and follow them and see how you can help.
LGBTQ plus news is vital for our community and for the broader world as a whole. We have enough enemies at Fox News. Tucker, Sean, and Laura are loud. We need passionate allies. Happening Out Television Network, Queer News Tonight, and It's Happening Out are literally out of the closet and into the headlines. Our community needs your support. Like this broadcast and subscribe now to ensure the growth of the entire LGBTQ plus community.